Oral arguments are just concluded in Pennsylvania's fair funding trial.
And this is the last major component to the trial, which started last November and heard closing arguments this spring. Tonight, Erie News Now state capitol correspondent Brendan Scanlon is in Harrisburg. Brendan, you've been following this case and, of course, walk us through just what happened with today's events.
Yeah, Mike and Eva, good evening. So yeah, today is the last time that both parties will be here in Harrisburg at Commonwealth Court behind me presenting their case and making their argument. Today's post-trial arguments, which just wrapped up literally moments ago, we've been told focused really on Pennsylvania's constitutional obligation, whether or not the state is required under the Constitution to provide that high quality, fair and equitable public school education for all students. Now, even with a major spending increase for education in the new budget, fair funding advocates tell me today that the fight is still far from over.
Decades of neglect cannot be amended in one budget.
Nashari Stewart is a recent graduate of William Penn School District, one of the 6 petitioning school districts in the fair funding trial. She says although the budget is a win for public schools this year, the funding system still needs fixing.
The only way to secure the future of current students and future students is to repair this broken system and decide this case in favor of every Pennsylvania student.
Teachers and students spoke about their experiences at the Capitol today as oral arguments proceeded a block away in Commonwealth Court. They're hoping the court will rule in their favor to address what they call inequitable funding and its impact, especially in lower wealth districts.
For the sake of all current and future students across the state, it is imperative that we fix the inadequacies of this system.
We need equal funding in our schools, no matter if we're Hispanic or Black.
Today's post-trial arguments marked the last major step of a months-long case that petitioners waited roughly 7 years for.
This is kind of like the final chance everybody has to have their say before the judge will take all the information and then issue a decision.
Susan Spica with Education Voters of Pennsylvania says a constitutional obligation was at the core of today's final arguments.
And they focused really on the fact that Pennsylvania has a constitution that requires that the legislature provide for a thorough and efficient system of education.
Now it's up to the court to decide. It's a decision that advocates say will impact the future of Pennsylvania.
From Upper Darby to Philadelphia, to Pittsburgh to Chester, to York to Erie to the Pocono Mountains, we know that our student accomplishments tomorrow are inextricably tied to their education today.
Mike and Eva, it could still be months before Commonwealth Court decides this case, and either party is likely to appeal that decision to the highest court in Pennsylvania, the state Supreme Court. So this fight is still likely far from over. Reporting live outside Commonwealth Court in Harrisburg. For Erie News Now, I'm Brendan Scanlon. Mike and Eva.